Shimmer by Child Labor, that's the video we will be reviewing today. They go by labor these days, but I've always called them Child Labor. I like that name actually more than labor. I think it's more edgy. It sounds pretty cool. It's a 2-year project. These guys have been filming in the streets for 2 years. As you can remember, the first year, which was 2 years ago now, was a pretty shitty winter snow-wise all around the globe. So I don't know if these guys, they were planning to do a 2-year project, or the first year they didn't have quite the footage that they needed. I think honestly it's pretty sick that they did a 2-year, because these guys, they've been pumping out movies every year since 2019, and we really got to see that crew progress over the years. I remember the first movie, some of the spots were pretty small. They were missing the tranny on some of the spots. But you can see that this crew, obviously they're a Salt Lake crew, so they're always gonna get like, when you're a Salt Lake crew, the first movie you're gonna put out is gonna get more shine than a crew that is based elsewhere. But all these guys are Salt Lake transplants, I'm pretty sure. They're all from the East Coast, or the vast majority of them. And I think every movie they've put out, it's always been better than the last. And today we'll find out if Shimmer is better than their last 2 movies. Because I think, why not? And All in Good Time, those two, like, I don't know if I have a favorite between those two. I haven't watched them in a bit, but those two were very, very solid movies. So filmed by Garrett Whley, T-Stone, Andrew Egan, Sam Ganosa, edited by Garrett Whley. Obviously he's edited all of the labor movies except the first one, I think, or co-edited the first one. So yeah, the labor crew, I got to meet up with these guys in Montreal last winter for a day. I showed them around, I gave them the pin for a spot, met them there, they got a few clips, and then I showed them a new rail that I had seen, and I was pretty stoked they got a clip on it. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. Obviously, I'll be watching this video without music. I've got the music playing in my ears right now, but for copyright reasons, I can't really put the music in the reviews. So the video starts off with Sam Ganosa, opening part. Guy has lots of energy, cool, aggressive style, a bit of a heavier skier. I like it personally. Kicker is kind of high on that rail. I don't know why he built it that high, but that rail was really cool. The last flat was very long. So one clip after the other, a bit of B-roll, but I like the pace of this part. That clip is sick. No run up, shovel pull. Yeah, that clip is sick. Gnarly spot. So this guy is not afraid to step to some gnarly spots, which is a bit more rare these days. Like, gnarly street skiers are a rare breed, and this dude honestly is pretty gnarly. There's no spots that is too gnarly for him. Well, maybe, but he hits gnarly spots. Disaster with the donkey, lands a bit on his tails. This rail is super dope. Yeah, that rail is super dope. Ferdy Ferdinandal also hit this rail in his cat piss part. And that clip is buck. 4-kink wooden rail with a pole in the last down. That clip is wild. One of the wildest clips in the video. Yeah, that clip is nuts with the pink beanie. No, I think, yeah, that's a dope-ass clip. I like that he landed, like, it shows that it took him a while. And that clip, I think that's one of the more underrated clips in the video. Switch tails, no run up, hop the flat, and he was unnatural on the rail, on the ledge. And right here, again, he's unnatural on the rail. So this guy slides rail, kink rail both ways. He can hop flats, unnatural. So very well-rounded skier. And here, lip 4 to forward for the ender of the part. Yeah, lip 4 to forward, that's a rare one. You don't see that one much in the streets. I think he's done one in a previous video, but it wasn't as clean as this one. So Ganosa, his part, I like his part. What other clips do I like in this part? I think that clip is nuts. Wooden quad kink with a pole. Yeah, that clip is nuts. The landing is a bit sketchy, but I think it's sick. I think it adds something to the clip, because you can see that it was a pain to get that clip. And yeah, the pole, oh yeah, puts its hand a bit on the pole, but I think in this case you can't really do otherwise. Like, imagine you gotta slide a wooden quad kink, and you've got a pole in the way, so do whatever it takes to get the clip. And I think it looks sick, that it's a bit like sketchy. This clip too really stands out. Switch tail with a drop in pretty close to the ledge. Switch tails on. Kicker is low on this one. And unnatural slide. He's sliding unnatural here on the ledge. Hops the flat. Yeah, that clip is mad dope. Hops the flat, super good. He had hit that ledge in a previous child labor video. He just cleared it and hopped over the flat. B-Dog did front swap on that ledge in 2008. So in the previous video when he just hopped the flat, I thought it was a pretty mid clip. But here he really that clip is a pure banger, honestly. Switch tails on, unnatural slide, hops the flat. So back to switch, perfect as it can be. So yeah, Ganosa first part, honestly, way to start the video. All right, next part, Andrew Egan. This dude has incredible rail balance. He's really good at kink rails. And his first trick is a 270 on a legendary rail that we have here in Montreal, specifically in Saint-Jérôme. That 270 on had been attempted by Frank Raymond and Laurent-Olivier Martin in 2009, and I think Laurent-Olivier Martin tried it in 2012. Really cool rail, square rail, really nice K-Fed, honestly. You can make a K-Fed look good. I think a lot of people hate on that trick. It's an easy trick to hate on, but it's a cool trick. I don't mind seeing a good K-Fed. Nice lip 2 to switch here. And I think we have Wyatt Dorman. Yep, that's him. I just watched the Traveling Circus video, and now I can recognize him, but the first time I watched the video, I didn't know who that homie was, because you don't have his name. I'd say Egan has good spots here. This one's a really good one. Front swap, unnatural front swap, pass between the fence, switch. The song is very mellow. It does fit well with his style. Personally, for me, not quite my cup of tea. But it's a good song. It fits well, changes the pace with the first part. I like that he was wearing a backpack. That's a pretty wild trick choice. Switch tails 2, front swap, switch unnatural tails 2. That's a pretty funny trick choice, but I like it, honestly. Then wall ride to down rail. And that's his ender. So all around, I think Egan has a really solid part. I don't know if it's his strongest footage to date. I think in Why Not, he really turned up the heat and he had ender for a reason. Here he has second part. Some people say that second part is the worst placement you can have in a video. I don't necessarily agree. I think his part here is well placed. The song changes the pace from the first part. And you can see his experience. He knows what he likes to do in the street. He knows what he's looking for. And he has a good variety of spots. Maybe he could have used one bigger kink rail or one really kinky rail. But I think overall his footage is really strong. We've got T-Stone. T-Stone, I think he films a lot of the videos. So I met up with the guys this winter and he was filming at both spots, if I'm correct. That's a pretty sick straight air right there. Pretty narrow spot. This is a cool looking spot too. Well, this guy, that's what he does in the street. He does drop-ins, he writes down stuff. I think it's he has good spot taste, honestly. Front 2, Christian Franchino did front swap, flat, flat, flat on that rail in 2014. So that was a weak clip. Slide the fence to tranny. So just the more I guess it's T-Stone's part with little cameos. This is pretty cool. I've seen that spot. I used to skate at the skate park right by that school, and I don't think I've noticed these pillars. I don't know if it's a new addition, but I don't know. It's a pretty cool spot. Nice drop-in. So T-Stone has, he does drop-ins. He keeps it simple. Obviously not the most technical skier out there, but I think he has good spot taste. And that's a pretty sick ledge. It's pretty low to the ground, but it's a cool looking ledge. And it looks long as shit, honestly. Looks very long. So when a ledge is that wide, I guess it's the equivalent of a street box. Honestly, that ledge looks a lot like a Boxzilla feature that you would have in the park. That's, let's call it the Ledgezilla. It's like the street Boxzilla. Sort of. Usually Boxzilla are longer than that, but and have an up. They go up at some point, but I think that could be like a sort of a street ledgezilla. So that spot is pretty cool, but it's very low to the ground, obviously. But I think it's just a cool looking ledge. Like, I don't know if they're gonna keep it like that. Maybe if they install a handrail on this thing, it's gonna be a pretty burly handrail. But I think that's a cool looking clip. As I said, this guy's more of the filmer, so his clips are more tasteful, not necessarily that technical. This guy, I don't know who that is. Wow, that's a dope ass K-Fed. Is that Wyatt Dorman again? Maybe, yeah, I think that's him with shorter hair, yeah. That was a dope ass K-Fed. Alright, next up, Blake Rolfing with a Smashing Pumpkins song. The video is on mute, but he's skiing to a Smashing Pumpkins song. Pretty obvious choice. Smashing Pumpkins, they've been used in a lot of Vans videos. They have that classic 90s, like grunge feel, whatever you want to call that. I think it's played out. Honestly, I'm not really a fan of a Smashing Pumpkins song in a video because it's always like the same, like the voice and the guitars are always pretty similar. Some people really worship that band. Me, I think they have good songs. I'm not denying that, but I think using a Smashing Pumpkins song makes it really snowboard video. Like, I think we need to stop using that band. It's been used in another video this year. I guess it fits well, but it's nothing really surprising or original, I think. Blake Rolfing, he's got like tech tricks in the streets, which is pretty rare, honestly, these days. Pretty good. Switch lip 2 to forward. This is his best clip, I think. Back swap Preds 2 on the famous Calgary quad kink. Yeah, super dope back swap Preds 2. I don't see many people doing back swap Preds 2s in the street these days. Nice 360 hand drag. Really good line here. And then it goes into Benny Osno's part. Nice shifty 270 on. I don't know if he could have brought that back to switch. I don't think so. Honestly, I don't really care. The shifty was super nice. I know some people don't really like a 2-on to forward, but I think the shifty was the nice part of the trick here. That clip, I was there. Yeah, you can see me right there in the background. That 3-swap was really sick, and I don't really think of this guy as a 3-swap kind of guy, so I really like that 3-swap on that spot. Yeah, and that bell right here is pretty gnarly, straight onto the concrete. That must have hurt. That's a good clip. Switch lip, hops into the tranny. End of season in Saguenay. Not the place you want to be in April. If you're in Saguenay, or I think they went in March because the snow was pretty bad. But Saguenay, end of the season, there's still a bunch of snow left usually. You gotta dig some ice and you gotta wrap your part up. So that clip is super dope. Like the space between those rails, like those rails are not close together, honestly. Lots of space, nice hop from one rail to the other. Benny, that dude is sick. He has a bit of a wider stance. Honestly, I'm down. I have a wide stance myself. He's more of a raw skier, maybe less technique than some of the other guys. Lots of commitment, and that clip is mad dope. I've always thought, so I had a homie back in the day, Yannick Daisy. I'm pretty sure he tried that side of the double kink to hop on the close-in, close-out type of thing, but never got it. So I'm super down to see that clip, honestly. That's pretty gnarly. Like, you see, if you come out of the rail in that area, you can get fucked. So that's a super dope clip. So yeah, what a way to end the part, honestly. Filmed really well. You can really see the length of that rail. I've measured it in a spot history video, and I think it was like 72 feet or something. So that thing is no joke. And the last down is like 42 foot long. So yeah, that thing is very long. Hops it really nice, gets it clean. Gets off maybe a bit on the nose, but honestly not really. So yeah, super dope clip to end the part. I think like this angle here really shows the length of the rail. So yeah, I think I really like that section. Blake Rolfing, Brolf. and Benny, their style go well together. They're like more raw skier. They're not maybe as clean as some of the other skiers, but they have really natural style. Oh damn, that's a sick rail with the closeout. Wow, super big lip on. Okay, so Benny has more clips, so it's not his ender. It's like so it's like a fake ender. I just remember that he had this little section here, and we've got Dakota Canol. It's pretty sick. Clip on back too. It's been back clipped by a snowboarder a while ago. That spot, I thought we would have seen a clip on that spot. And that's super sick here. Switch right tails to the forward and then switch tails to the forward. Shout out to Steph Curtis who did switch tails to the forward on the red ledge in Stadacone by ESK Media. In Stadacone he does it to switch, but there's another clip in an edit where he did it to forward. So here I'm pretty sure that's Tito Jenkins. So that clip is pretty nuts. Gapping, the down flat. Yeah, that clip is nuts. One of the best clips in the video. Tito Jenkins, that dude is mad sick. I'd like to see like a real full part out of that guy. He has like clips and a bunch of videos, but I'd really be down to see a full part. Here, Dakota Canol looks like Forrest Bailey, the snowboarder. He has the same bowl cut. Fellow teammate on 686. So yeah, we've got Cal's part up next. Yeah, that clip is wild. Underflip 540 out of a wall ride. Pretty dope tracksuit here. Carson was a big advocate of the track pants back in 2017, 2019. Using his brain here, big brain kind of spot. Lip on back swap. I think that clip is weak. Even with the all white outfit, I don't think. Lip on back swap on a down rail. That's not a very hard trick to do. That clip, Raf Diaz sent it to me. It was one of his favorite clips in the video. Sort of a pretzel and drag. That's pretty hard, I guess. So Cal here really doing like hand plants, hand drags, experimenting with different types of tricks. Lip on back swap, then unnatural lip on back swap. That line was dope. The king of that line is Evan Sigstad. Evan Sigstad did switch tails to 70 on the first rail and then lip 2 on the second rail 15 years ago, I'm pretty sure. So go check that out in the Field Productions movie. But yeah, Cal really doing like different types of tricks. I think this spot is pretty cool. Flat, little stall, tap, whatever on the up rail. That line's pretty sick. Switch lip front 2 and then other way switch lip front 2. So he's done 2 lines with the same tricks mirrored. That's pretty tech, honestly. I don't know that many people who could do that. Also, both the spots were like perfect for those type of lines. Like same rail both ways. That rail is pretty sick. Hop to the side. What are those pants? They look like old school, like brown pants. He really likes the white pants too. I think they fit him well. I think the white pants are a good choice. It was a nice switch blender to 70 on. Next up, second to last part, Zach's third event. Pretty sick, cool looking spot. Flat to flat, front 4 out. The part placement is really good in this video. I would have not placed those parts differently. This spot is pretty cool. My girlfriend likes this clip. When we watched the video, she was like, oh, nice. I thought that was pretty funny. Well, this guy has like pretty unique style, a different kind of style. Vishnu style for sure, but I think he has like his own, like he's pretty like, has good spot choice. He's pretty original in his spot choice and his style. I like this guy. This spot's super cool. Nose under to 70 on, to 70 out. It's right by the highway here in Montreal. I've passed by this spot a few times. And now every time I pass by it, I think of this clip. So that's pretty sick. That must have been pretty easy. Like first or second try. Doesn't look that scary either. That's sick. Rail to wall ride. That's a cool spot. And then switch slip on a crazy kink rail that Will Wesson slid in 2008, if I'm correct, and Jamie Foy 50-50'd last year. So that's a pretty sick rail. And you'll see like he'll put the sticker on the pole fence, and you've got the, yeah, so right here you've got the Jamie Foy sticker, Jamie Foy Sodi 2024 sticker under. So that's pretty funny. That's a nice nice clip. And we're down to the last part of the video. Garrett Whley, editor of the video, and he gave himself last part. And no, just kidding. At first I thought it was pretty funny that the editor would give himself last part. But honestly, I'm talking shit here. I think Garrett deserves last part. Opening clip, super dope 3-swap. I think he deserves last part. The way it's edited, every trick is very clean. He has a really clean style. You can see that like he won't settle for a sketchy clip. I do think he has some of the strongest footage of the video. Not necessarily the strongest skier in the crew, but here his footage, there's no doubt that this guy deserved the ender. He wanted to get the clips as perfect as he could, and I think mission accomplished. Very snowboard-like video part. The way he dresses, the way it's edited, the song, like an emo song with a guy like screaming, complaining, whatever. I think it suits him well. It's well done. Here, nice switch lip 2 to flat. Pretty much the best trick you could do on that ledge. If you can think of a better trick to do on that, let me know. But I think that's pretty much the best trick you could do on that ledge. Switch tails, front 2 on a nice looking red quad kink. Sean Jordan hit that rail in Mutiny. Yeah, lip on, front swap to flat. That clip is super dope. I showed them that rail. I was stoked that he got it. Transfer with the nose inside the rail. Those rails were pretty close together. So he really keeps his arms down. He has cool, clean style. I don't know if that spot is that big. It was a nice front 2 out, but I don't know if the spot was that gnarly. It was filmed from the top fisheye, so I think it gave a bit an illusion that it was big. And that's a really good switch lip to switch. Good clip. His best clip in the part, I think. Great way to end the video. This guy has really proper switch lip-ons. He has a nice posture coming at the rail, nice positioning. And Sigtveit was on the sesh. So if you've noticed, there was 2 B-roll clips with Sigtveit, which obviously is a big inspiration for Garrett in the way he dresses with like the balaclava. You can really see that Garrett Whley worships Sigtveit. I think it's his favorite skier, and it's pretty cool that he had like B-roll clips in his part. So let's find the Sigtveit clips. So that's Sigtveit right there in the middle with the camo shirt. Good skier to worship. Sigtveit, one of the low-key, I think one of the GOATs. That dude was super dope, mad underrated. Garrett's part, very snowboard inspired, as I said. Pretty sure that dude was roommates with some of the Dustbox guys. So yeah, honestly, I think Garrett deserved last part. I don't know if it's my favorite part in the video. I think the song really fit well with the footage. As I said, it's a classic type of song that's been used in a lot of snowboarding videos, skateboarding videos, like emo, like not my cup of tea. I do like emo songs, but I don't really like that type of emo where like the guy, it's always the same type of screaming voice. When I watch his part, I can see that like that's the kind of music he's into, which is good. Like, you want the song to really fit with the rider and with the skier, and in that case, it fits really well. I do like the balaclavas he's wearing. The like, it looks like he's gonna come into a convenience store and rob the cashier, rob the counter. I do like the way he dresses. Very snowboard-like, very snowboard-inspired. Yeah, his riding is very clean, as I said, so I don't have much else to say, honestly. All in all, the child labor video, on my first watch, I really liked it. I thought that the editing was good. I liked that it was parts. More of a classic format, like part after part after part. Everyone had their name at the beginning of the part. It was a solid video all around. I would give it, off the top of my head, an 8.5 out of 10. I think it's a solid video, well edited. Every skier has their own style, which is a cheesy thing to say, but I think it really applies to that crew. Everyone is different in their own way. They all have their own little tweaks on what kind of spots they like. There's some guys that are really into different kind of tricks and spots. Like Carson did a lot of like hand drag, twisty hand drag type of things. I feel like he had like a clear like vision on the kind of tricks he wanted in there. I think my favorite part would be Ganosa. Ganosa first part, lots of energy, just raw style, big spots. The bigger spots and the more gnarly spots in the video. That's the one thing I do have to say about that video. It's very equal. Like, it's a very like equally paced video. Like, there's not that many like, oh shit or oh what the fuck type of spots in that video, which is understandable. These guys have been at it for a while now. It's their 6th movie. I think in Why Not and All in Good Time, some of the spots were gnarlier. They also had Seamus Flanagan in those 2 videos, and that dude like was the gnarlier dude out of the crew. I do think this video, Shimmer, is a bit too equal. I think some of the guys could have gone out a bit more out of their comfort zone. You can see, and I think that's a thing that happens with a lot of street skiers over time. It's like when you've been hitting street for so long, you develop a certain taste of spot, and you know what you're looking for. And I think those guys, they know what they like, and each of the guys really stick to that and maybe could have gone a bit more out of their comfort zone, turn it up a notch and do like a bit more gnarlier features. But at the same time, like, it's a more like veteran crew at this point, and it's like a veteran video. They know how to produce a video, they know how to film a part. And that's what they did. I think they could have gone a bit more out of their comfort zone. Like, I think that video would have really benefited from like 5 crazy clips. Like 5 crazy clips spread out, like one guy each or one every 2 part, which I think it lacked a bit. Like, it's not the quality of the clips, it's the gnarly spots. I think what this video is lacking a bit is gnarly spots. And in the previous videos, they had gnarlier spots. In Why Not and All in Good Time, they had gnarlier spots. And that's the only thing I would say about this video. Other than that, maybe some of the lips onto rails were a bit poppy. This lip here is too high. This lip here is too high. Another clip that I find pretty funny, which is something I always find funny. Yeah, so this clip here, I always thought that this was funny when you got 2 guys hitting the same spot and the lips are different size on each side. So obviously Egan is gonna put it bigger to do a lip to on, and Wyatt Dorman here, he's only getting onto the rail grabbing his nose. But I always find it funny because that's the thing we can do. Skiers and snowboarders, it's the same thing. We got snow, so you can put a lip whatever height you want and build it however you want. So you can see that on the side he's doing his lip too, there's like a little whoop at the end of the lip, which help him to get on over the rail. He's pretty high over the rail. And on the other side, since Wyatt was only doing like a grab onto the rail, the lip is like tinier and way less poppy. Which honestly, doesn't really matter that much. I've seen way bigger, like horrendous lips in the street. Here is just an observation that like the lips are built differently according to the trick, which makes sense. But I do think that building the lip however you want is sort of like not a cheat code, but it's sort of an advantage that we have with snow, that like if you take a skateboarder, for example, he's not gonna build a lip to get onto the rail. The rail is that high, he's gonna have to do his back lip like or whatever trick he's doing, he's gonna have to do it. The rail is that high and he's gonna have to pop more. Skiers, we have snow. So yeah, I always thought it was pretty funny that like there's no standard as to how to build your lip in the street, and it plays out on how legit your clip is. Here, I just thought it was a good example because you can see that both kickers are built differently, as you can see them side by side. But yeah, you can really see that there's a little like whoop at the end that really helps him get over the rail. It is an advantage that we have. Like we have the snow, we can put the lip however we want. Whether skateboarding, obviously a skateboarder has more pop. You can really snap your board and get onto the rail. But if there is a certain spot and a skateboarder does a kickflip backlip, for example, there's no way to make it not as legit by putting like plywood to make the rail less high or to help you get on the rail. As to skiers, we have that advantage, and I think here it's a good example. We have one guy going lip 2, he builds the lip a certain way, and the other guy just goes straight onto the rail, builds the lip the other way. Obviously, as I said, if you're just getting on the rail, you don't need that much of a lip. And a lip 2, not many people do lip 2s in the streets. Here, Egan, by the looks of it, it's a nice down rail. I think he really wanted a lip 2 in his part. I don't know if he's done lip 2s in his other parts. I can't really think of one right now. So yeah, I just thought that that was a good example to really showcase two different tricks. You're gonna build a lip in two different ways. Building a proper lip is a science. Some guys, they don't really care as much as how big the lip is or how poppy it looks. Me personally, these days, I look a lot at how the lips is set up. Here, it's a really proper lip, obviously. But as I said, again, he's just getting on the rail. If he would have done a 270 on, the lip would have not been built the same way. Like here again, another good example of like how a poppy lip can help you. Here you can see that like his lip is not flat, it's really going straight up. I was really looking at that clip the other day and was wondering like if you do a switch lip to the flat, because obviously if you go straight to flat, just like T-Stone's clip, you don't need a lip at all. You can just go straight to flat. Here I was looking at that clip the other day and was wondering like, could you do a switch lip 2 onto that ledge with no lip at all? Because you're like skipping the first part. Maybe it could be doable if you come in at like a wider angle and cheat your angle a bit. But I think in that case, like as you can see here, the lip looks really good on camera. I think that's the most important thing. Like the lip needs to look good on camera. In the other angle, it looked a bit poppy, but at the same time, Garrett has a really good pop going switch. He really does the trick proper. Not a diss here by any means, honestly. Just trying to analyze the clip. Because I think a switch 2 in the streets is a pretty controversial trick. A lot of people, they build mountains to do a switch 2 on a rail in the streets. I think he built it the way he needed to be built. It looks good on camera, so honestly I was just wondering if it could have been done with like no lip or a really flat lip. I think in that case, to get over this part of the ledge, he needed that lip. Like if it was lower, I think he would have clipped. He really spun his switch 2 nicely around. I also think that he wanted to spin his switch 2 like really nice and proper and slow, and if he would have done that with a flatter lip or no lip at all, the switch 2 would have not looked as clean. And also, yeah, that's one of the crazier clips in the video. Front 3 swap on that thing. That rail is a zigzag son of a bitch. Pretty quick zigzag rail. I've tried this rail in 2016 and it was pretty much a fail on my part. Yeah, that clip, what a way to start the part off. Goes really well with the song. And the front 3 swap is just perfect. He spins it around nice, lands under his bindings, proper landing. Garrett really does his tricks proper. He spins really nicely, pops really nicely. So at the end of the day, I think I'd give it an 8.5 for that video. Challenger, they've been at it for a while. Yeah, is it their last video? I'm not sure. It feels like the last one. It's a 2-year project. They've never done a 2-year project before. Usually when a crew does a 2-year, usually it's their last movie or second to last. I think I saw a link the other day for like clothes that they sold, and they were like profits will go towards the next video. So I'm not quite sure if this will be their last video. Sponsor wise, I wonder how many dollars these guys can get. Presented by Vishnu, Arsenic, Smoke Proper. So they have 3 sponsors. I wonder what's the budget for that video. 5 grand, 10 grand, I have no idea. Who knows? But these guys, they've been putting in the work for a number of years now. They're an amateur crew, so they do it for the love. I said earlier that I thought that the video could have been gnarlier, but like these guys are doing it for the love. The only reason to go buck in the streets is if they feel like going buck. Like I don't blame an amateur crew for not going buck or big enough, because you're not getting financial compensation. Like especially these guys are Americans. If they get fucked in the streets, they gotta get a GoFundMe to get surgery. My point is, child labor, they've put out 6 videos. Why not? And all in good time, more than gnarliest. This one I don't think is as gnarly, but I don't blame the guys because they're amateur guys. If they have a budget, like they have 3 sponsors, I don't know what's the budget for that video, but I do think that after a while, if you want to motivate the writer to go big and get gnarly footage, there has to be financial compensation. A good example from that is Dakota Canol. Last year he was filming with level 1 and he had his best part. Like the footage was gnarly. So clearly the guy was like, I'm in a level 1 video, I'm gonna like bust my ass off and get gnarly footage. And his footage was really gnarly. So yeah, bottom line, my point is these guys, they made a great video. They've been doing it for 6 years. After doing it for 6 years, 2-year project, maybe you get a bit burnt out. Maybe you get older. You don't want to do as many like stupid spots or like gnarly spots as before. Because they had some pretty gnarly bells in previous videos. And in that videos, the bells are mellow compared to those. So maybe the guys, they tone it down on like the gnarly spots, but they put out a more like polished video. So I think polished is the word here. If it's the last one, it's a proper video to go out on. So that's gonna wrap it up for my review. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video and let me know what videos you want to see next. Peace out.